The sun blazed down on a quiet suburban street in Jacksonville, Florida, casting long shadows over the neatly trimmed lawns and whispering through the branches of the oak trees. It was the kind of day that made the air shimmer and the neighborhood hum with life. Kids on bikes, sprinklers ticking rhythmically, and the faint smell of barbecue wafting from a few houses down. But for one 8-year-old boy, this wasn't just another summer day. This was the day his simple act of hope would spark a chain reaction no one could have anticipated. Liam sat on a small wooden stool at the edge of his driveway, his legs swinging nervously as he arranged his lemonade stand. The setup was humble but heartfelt. A folding table covered with a bright blue cloth, a large pitcher of lemonade sweating in the Florida heat, and a stack of paper cups neatly placed to one side. A colorful sign propped up on an old easel read, "Lemonade for Strength," written in Liam's bold, uneven handwriting. Despite the simplicity of the stand, Liam's determination radiated from every detail, from the carefully adjusted sign to the hopeful smile he flashed at every passerby. Unlike most kids his age who set up lemonade stands to save for toys or trips, Liam's reason was far more profound. Diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy 2 years ago, Liam had endured countless doctors' visits, therapies, and treatments that left him physically weaker but emotionally stronger. He knew his condition had placed a heavy financial burden on his parents, and even at his young age, he wanted to help. "If I sell enough lemonade, maybe Mom and Dad won't have to worry so much," Liam had told his mom, Sarah, the night before. His words, spoken with innocent sincerity, had brought tears to her eyes. Now, she watched him from the porch, her heart aching with a mix of pride and sadness. Liam's once strong legs were now supported by braces, and his movements were slow and deliberate, but his spirit remained unbreakable. The first hour was quiet. A jogger passed by, giving Liam a friendly wave, but not stopping. A car slowed as it approached, the driver glancing curiously before driving off. Liam didn't seem discouraged. He adjusted his sign, poured himself a small cup of lemonade, and waited patiently. His first customer finally arrived, Mrs. Adler, an elderly woman who lived 2 houses down. She shuffled toward the stand, her cane tapping softly against the pavement. "Good morning, Liam," she said, her voice warm and kind. "How much for a cup?" "$1," Liam replied with a shy smile. Mrs. Adler handed him a $5 bill. "Keep the change, sweetheart," she said, her eyes lingering on the words, "Lemonade for Strength," written on the sign. "You're doing something very special here." Liam beamed, his confidence growing with each interaction. As the morning stretched into afternoon, more neighbors stopped by. Some bought lemonade, while others simply dropped a few bills into the mason jar labeled donations. Each gesture, no matter how small, fueled Liam's resolve. But despite the growing support, his goal of raising $5,000 for a new round of physical therapy sessions still seemed far out of reach. Just as the sun began its descent, casting a golden glow over the neighborhood, something extraordinary happened. A sleek black pickup truck rumbled down the street, its windows tinted and its engine growling softly. The truck came to a stop in front of Liam's stand, and the driver, a towering figure with a shaved head and a warm, infectious smile, stepped out. Liam squinted up at him, his curiosity piqued. "Hi there," Liam said brightly. "Would you like some lemonade? It's only $1 a cup." The man crouched down so he was eye level with Liam, his hands resting on his knees. "$1, huh? That sounds like the best deal I've heard all day," he said, his deep voice carrying a hint of amusement. "What's all this for?" Liam pointed to his sign, his small finger brushing over the colorful letters. "It's for my therapy. I have something called Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and my parents say the therapy helps me stay strong. I thought if I could help pay for it, maybe they wouldn't have to worry so much." The man's expression softened, his dark eyes glinting with admiration. "That's a pretty big heart you've got there, kid," he said. He glanced at the donation jar, then back at Liam. "Tell you what, how about I make a little donation?" Reaching into his back pocket, the man pulled out a checkbook and scribbled something onto a slip of paper. He handed it to Liam, who unfolded it with trembling hands. His eyes widened as he read the amount written on the check. This is This is $25,000, Liam stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. Sarah, who had been watching the interaction from the porch, bolted to her feet. 25,000? She repeated, her voice trembling as she rushed to her son's side. She looked at the man, her eyes brimming with tears. I don't even know what to say. Thank you doesn't seem like enough. The man smiled, his rugged features softening. You don't need to say anything, he replied. This little guy here is the one doing the real work. It was then that someone in the growing crowd murmured, Wait a minute, is that Dwayne Johnson? The Rock? The name rippled through the small group like wildfire. Phones emerged, whispers turned to gasps, and soon everyone was craning their necks for a better look. Liam tilted his head, his curiosity growing. Are you famous or something? He asked innocently. Dwayne chuckled, crouching down again so he could meet Liam's gaze. A little bit, he said, but not as famous as you're about to be, buddy. The crowd laughed softly, the tension of the moment breaking into something warm and genuine. Dwayne reached out and gently patted Liam's shoulder. You keep doing what you're doing, kid. The world needs more people like you. The air buzzed with energy as the realization set in. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had just turned up at Liam's lemonade stand and made a life-changing donation. But the encounter wasn't over yet. Dwayne addressed the crowd, his deep voice commanding attention. All right, folks, who's ready to join me in supporting this little superhero? He said, holding up a cup of lemonade. Let's show Liam here that he's got a whole team behind him. One by one, people stepped forward, inspired by Dwayne's gesture. Bills and coins poured into the donation jar, and a few even wrote checks on the spot. By the end of the day, Liam's modest goal of $5,000 had been shattered, with total donations surpassing $40,000. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange, Liam's lemonade stand had become a beacon of hope and generosity. But Dwayne wasn't done. Before leaving, he knelt beside Liam and said, I've got some friends who'd love to help out too. Don't be surprised if you hear from them in the next few days. True to his word, the days that followed brought an outpouring of support from all corners of the country. Liam's story went viral, capturing the hearts of millions. Inspired by his courage and Dwayne's kindness, people from all walks of life came together to contribute to Liam's cause. Offers for free therapy sessions, medical equipment, and even family vacations flooded in. And it didn't stop there. Inspired by Liam, communities across the country began setting up lemonade stands to support families facing similar challenges. Liam's simple act of hope had blossomed into a movement, proving that even the smallest voices can create echoes that reach far and wide. And through it all, he remained the same humble, big-hearted boy who had just wanted to help his mom and dad. The days after Dwayne Johnson's visit to Liam's lemonade stand felt like a dream. News outlets picked up the story, showcasing Liam's bravery and Dwayne's act of kindness. Headlines like The Rock Powers Little Boys Fight Against Duchenne and Lemonade Stand Inspires Nation dominated social media. The image of Liam standing proudly beside Dwayne, both of them holding cups of lemonade, became a viral sensation. At first, Liam didn't understand the magnitude of what had happened. To him, the lemonade stand was just a way to help his parents. But as letters, donations, and messages of encouragement flooded in, he began to see how much his story had touched people's hearts. Sarah and her husband, Matt, found themselves overwhelmed with gratitude as the financial burden of Liam's treatments began to lift. One afternoon, a package arrived at their doorstep. It was large and neatly wrapped, with a card attached. Sarah opened it cautiously, her breath catching as she read the card aloud. Dear Liam, you've inspired me and so many others to look at the world differently. Enclosed is something to help you keep spreading your light. Keep shining, little warrior. Love, Dwayne Johnson. Inside the package was a state-of-the-art wheelchair designed specifically for children with muscular dystrophy. It was lightweight, adaptive, and painted bright blue, Liam's favorite color. Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes as Liam examined the chair, running his fingers over the smooth metal frame. It's perfect, Liam whispered, his voice filled with awe. But the surprises didn't stop there. Within days, Liam's family was contacted by several organizations, including a foundation specializing in Duchenne research and a children's hospital offering advanced therapy options. Inspired by Dwayne's involvement, these groups pledged to support Liam and his family in any way they could. One organization even invited Liam to be the face of their upcoming awareness campaign. Liam's story continued to ripple outward, reaching people from all walks of life. Kids across the country began setting up their own lemonade stands, donating the proceeds to families in need or organizations fighting muscular dystrophy. The hashtag number sign Lemonade for Strength trended for weeks, uniting strangers in a collective mission to make a difference. Meanwhile, Dwayne kept in touch with Liam. He would occasionally send video messages, checking in on how the boy was doing and encouraging him to stay strong. In one message, Dwayne said, "Liam, you've got the heart of a champion. And champions don't give up. You're not just fighting for yourself. You're inspiring the world to fight alongside you." The bond between them deepened when Dwayne invited Liam and his family to visit the set of his latest movie. When Liam arrived, he was greeted like a star. The cast and crew had heard about his story and treated him like royalty. Dwayne even introduced Liam to the director, joking, "We've got a future action hero right here." As the months passed, Liam's lemonade stand evolved into something much bigger. With the help of local businesses and volunteers, his family launched Lemonade for Strength Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting families facing financial hardships due to medical treatments. The foundation's mission was clear: to ensure that no family would have to choose between their child's health and financial stability. The foundation's first major event was a community lemonade festival. Held in a sprawling park, the festival featured live music, food trucks, games, and of course, lemonade stands. Dwayne was the guest of honor, and his presence drew a massive crowd. When he stepped onto the stage to address the audience, his words resonated deeply. "This little guy right here," Dwayne said, placing a hand on Liam's shoulder, "is proof that one small act can make a huge difference." Liam didn't just set up a lemonade stand, he started a movement. And it's up to all of us to keep that movement going. The festival raised over $100,000 for the foundation, far surpassing expectations. As the event wrapped up, Liam stood on stage, clutching the microphone tightly with both hands. His voice trembled slightly, but his words were clear and heartfelt. "Thank you to everyone who helped me," he said, his gaze sweeping over the crowd. "When I started my lemonade stand, I just wanted to help my mom and dad. I never thought so many people would care, but now I know that even little things can make a big difference. So, thank you for believing in me." The applause was thunderous, and as Liam stepped back, Dwayne gave him a high five, followed by a bear hug that made the crowd cheer even louder. Back at home, life began to settle into a new rhythm. The financial strain was gone, replaced by a sense of hope and possibility. Liam's treatments continued, and while there were still challenges, the love and support from their community gave the family the strength to face them head-on. One evening, as Liam and his parents sat together reading through the countless letters and messages they had received, Sarah noticed one envelope that stood out. It was simple and unmarked, with no return address. Inside was a handwritten note. "Dear Liam, your story reminded me that even in the darkest times, there is light. Thank you for showing the world what true strength looks like. I'll be rooting for you every step of the way. With admiration, a friend." Liam smiled as he read the note. "Mom, do you think we'll ever know who wrote this?" Sarah shook her head. "Maybe not, but sometimes it's the anonymous kindness that means the most." The story of Liam's lemonade stand, Dwayne Johnson's generosity, and the movement they had inspired became a testament to the power of community and compassion. It was a reminder that no matter how small an act might seem, it can create ripples that reach far beyond what anyone could imagine. And for Liam, his journey was just beginning. With his family, his foundation, and his newfound strength, he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that he was never alone. Months after the Lemonade Festival, Liam's foundation had grown into a nationally recognized organization. Schools across the country organized lemonade fundraisers, with proceeds going directly to the foundation's programs. Businesses began sponsoring events, and celebrities lent their voices to amplify the cause. Liam was invited to speak at several events, including a National Children's Health Summit in Washington, D.C. Dressed in a tiny suit and tie, he nervously approached the podium, his parents watching proudly from the front row. Taking a deep breath, Liam began to speak. "When I started my lemonade stand, I didn't know what would happen," he said, his voice steady despite the sea of faces staring back at him. "I just wanted to help my mom and dad. But then something amazing happened. People started helping me, and together we've made something bigger than I ever imagined." The audience erupted into applause, and Liam's story was once again shared across the country. He was interviewed on morning shows, featured in magazines, and even received an award from a major nonprofit organization recognizing his contributions to the fight against muscular dystrophy. Through it all, Liam remained humble. His favorite days were still the ones spent at home, working on projects for the foundation with his parents or brainstorming new ideas to help other kids like him. One day, while sketching plans for a new fundraiser, Liam turned to his mom and asked, "Do you think we're really helping people?" Sarah smiled, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. "You're changing lives, sweetheart. Never forget that." As Liam's foundation continued to thrive, it also began funding research initiatives aimed at finding better treatments for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Scientists and doctors expressed their gratitude for the support, noting that Liam's efforts had accelerated progress in ways they hadn't thought possible. One evening, as Liam and his family prepared for another busy week, there was a knock at the door. Standing on the porch was Dwayne Johnson, holding a tray of cupcakes and wearing a grin that lit up the night. "Thought I'd stop by to see how my favorite little hero is doing," he said. Liam's face lit up with excitement as he invited Dwayne in. The two spent the evening chatting about their plans for the future, with Dwayne promising to continue supporting the foundation in any way he could. Before leaving, he knelt beside Liam and said, "You've already done so much, buddy, but something tells me you're just getting started." The warmth and encouragement in his words left Liam inspired, ready to tackle whatever challenges lay ahead. And as he watched Dwayne drive away, Liam couldn't help but smile. He knew that no matter where life took him, he'd always have a team of people rooting for him, ready to help him make the world a little brighter.